Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Hail Yes podcast. I am your host, Hailey Gamba. How is everyone doing today? Can you guys tell the voice is slowly getting better? And of course, I literally am going to see Beyonce in 2 days. I made a promise to myself that I will not be shouting, even though I know I'm gonna want to. A little fun fact, but the Beyonce Renaissance Tour concert was the first time that I actually lost my voice. So I never had like a voice or a vocal cord issue prior to that concert. I went to the Renaissance tour. It was like in August, not last August, but the time before that. And I remember I came home and I lost my voice and I didn't think anything of it, but I remember that it did not come back for weeks at a time. And then it eventually did come back. And then when I would start to go out and let's just say I was like in a bar setting or I would be in a place that's really noisy that required me to like elevate my voice quite a bit, I would lose my voice repeatedly. And that's kind of what's been happening on and off since then. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know in my DMs on Instagram at Hailey Gamba because I could use all the help. But I've been just kind of sucking on cough drops and trying to take it pretty easy. And I do feel it slowly coming back. So I'm going to be super mindful at the Beyonce concert on Thursday to not scream on the top of my lungs, even though I know I'm going to want to because I'm so flippin' excited. That being said, I also have another little update. By the time that you guys listen to this episode, I would have already changed my hair. I love the blonde. It's fun. It was a vibe, but the maintenance is ridiculous. My hair grows like a weed, and getting it repeatedly toned is something that requires a lot of my time. My hair gets brassy pretty quickly, so I kind of need to get it done like every 4 weeks, and I'm just not interested in doing that. It's just too much work. Plus, my hair is just so broken and brittle, so we're gonna just take a little break from the blonde. It's not bye forever, it's just bye for now. So I'm gonna get a quick weave by my favorite girl, Touched by Tasha Mack. She's always been the one that does all of like my extensions and anything that has to do with me switching up my hair. And we're gonna just put some beautiful long raw Indian bundles in my hair. They are jet black. So I'm gonna be dyeing like the top portion of my hair black just to kind of blend with them. And then I'm gonna keep the rest of my hair blonde and braid it underneath. I know all of you guys are gonna say, well, girl, why would you do that? You're not gonna be able to go back to blonde from that top portion that you colored black. I hear you. I just don't wanna make a decision right now to completely go jet black all over. And my hair grows so fast that by the time that I would want to be blonde again, I'm hoping that my hair would just grow out of that black dye that I put on it. We have a lot of amazing things coming up, a lot of events, Memorial Day weekend. I don't really know what I'm doing for that. I heard the weather is not going to be super great here in Jersey, so I'm probably going to go somewhere where it's going to be like a good indoor vibe. I was contemplating going down to the Jersey Shore, but I don't want to, so I'm going to probably stick to either somewhere local or somewhere close to the city. And my brother's birthday is next Friday. His birthday is May 30th, so we're actually going to celebrate his birthday Monday on actual Memorial Day because we're all off and we're going to just barbecue, hang out, and sit by the pool. So that's kind of just the little updates I have going on. I hope everyone's having an amazing week and you guys are getting yourself ready for summer. Today's topic is something that I think a lot of us face at some point in our lives, especially as we are evolving, growing, changing, entering a new season. And as we are entering the summer months, I really wanted to discuss how to navigate your past coming back into your life. Essentially, when your past comes knocking and you almost take the bait and allow it back into your life. I think a lot of us have definitely faced this at some point when our past tries to spin the block on us, whether it's an ex or an old habit, a job opportunity that you've already outgrown, or even just a mindset that you thought you left behind. This episode is about honoring your growth and choosing forward over familiar, which is really difficult for people because things that feel familiar tend to be comfortable. They tend to feel right in the moment. But then when you kind of reflect on it, you realize that you've outgrown that, or it's just no longer serving you. It's no longer aligning with your future self. And something that I tell myself, and it's kind of like an affirmation that I try to remind myself of, is my decisions are bigger than me. And what I mean by this is, whenever I make a decision, I have to keep in mind the future of my life, my family, my kids, the generations that I'm going to have after me. So I have to make decisions that are going to support what I want that to look like. So this is bigger than myself. All of my decisions are bigger than me. So I have to be very careful with whom I choose to welcome into my world or what I choose to do with my time. I need to make sure that I'm always thinking of the future and that this particular program, which is myself, that the program is bigger than me. It just is. So that's something that I think is really easy to kind of remind yourself of. And a lot of the times, like, you have to recognize the return of the past, right? What does it look like when your past comes back? I think that it could be a multitude of things, right? Whether it's like a text from an old ex or a phone call or job offers that underpay, but they maybe are easy, you're good at it. It's something that you know that you could technically take, but it's beneath where you're at. It's maybe an old friend who maybe brought a lot of drama into your life and they're not taking accountability, but they still want you in their life. Or even just a familiar pattern of self-sabotage, whether that's like sleeping in really late or drinking too much on the weekends, or you stopping going to the gym and, doing your wellness journey. It could be a multitude of different things. And you have to recognize, why it shows up. And a lot of the times it's comfort, it's familiarity, and it's unfinished lessons. A personal anecdote of my own past coming up, and this is kind of what influenced this particular episode in the first place, was I notice that whenever I'm in a very transformative place in my life, whether it's, me going through an emotional season or I'm elevating, but it feels like a lot of like resistance and discomfort, or I'm even just experiencing a lot of highs and a lot of wins, my past will always show up in a form of a person or even a lesson. I had a person from my past who meant a lot to me at one point reach out and try to rekindle things with me. And this was a person that I never had a romantic relationship with, but we were very close. We definitely had amazing memories. We were friends for, over a decade. And it was a person that meant a lot to me. And there was a lot of confusion surrounding our dynamic. How it really ended and the friendship completely just was severed was this person did something very unkind to me. And it was like their way of getting back at me for years of resentment and bitterness that they never actually shared with me. This was someone who was harboring negative emotions and feelings about me that I never knew were going on within. So when they finally got the chance to allow me to possibly consider something different with them and me just being a little bit more vulnerable, they used that opportunity to hurt me and stab me in the back. That really affected me. It actually affected me so much that it made me realize, like, wow, I want to be in a really great place with my family. Like, that was kind of what catapulted me valuing my family to a different degree. Not saying that I never did. I always loved my family. My family and I are, for the most part, in a great place. But I was always a friendship girl. I loved my friends. I loved my boyfriends. And I was just a girl who socialized a lot out of the home. When I experienced this type of disloyal and unkind behavior from a person who I thought I could trust, it made me grow closer to my family because I realized that that was a behavior that would never be replicated in my familial dynamics. Because it's just a different type of love. It's a different type of loyalty. It's a different type of respect. And although we have our own issues, that is not something that would ever happen. And I just did not want to be someone who became closed off. I just wanted to open my heart to new things. I didn't want to allow it to affect me to where I didn't trust again or I didn't love again, but I wanted it to affect me in a way where I grew closer to the people who were always there, who always showed up, who were always the people that I needed them to be. So I say all this to say that I ended up healing from that, moving past it, and moving on with my life. And it's been many, many, many years since I have had any communication with this person. And they reached out, and I think that a part of me was receptive because I did not want to come across as someone who was holding a grudge or resentful. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I outgrew that person. And that even after speaking with them for that one time that we kind of attempted to rekindle, I realized that they were still the same person that they were when they hurt me. And it's not necessarily like I am attacking them for their lack of growth, but it's me realizing that I have completely outgrown the liking of this person. I don't like the way they move. I don't like the way that they think. I don't like the way that they behave. And although they profess this undeniable love and respect for me and this desire to have me a part of their life, it would not have been to my best interest to rekindle that. So I decided to just fade into the background and continue on with the onward and upward of my own life. Now, I think that there are so many different reasons why you have to say no to the past. If it was right for you, it wouldn't feel like a war to welcome it back in. You wouldn't have all of this, emotional roller coaster of feelings if you should speak with them, if you should rekindle, if, you should welcome this energy back in. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a person, a job, an old pattern. Why is there so much resistance being met with this thing that is supposedly supposed to be in your life? You need to identify the difference between comfort and growth, the illusion of comfort versus the reality of growth. What is meant for you won't confuse you or drain you. And I've even noticed that every time I say no, I create space for a better yes. The more no's that you say, the more times that you say, you know what, this isn't going to work for me, the closer you're getting to your yes. And you really have to look at it that way. So choosing yourself often means disappointing your past and letting it know, hey, you're not welcome here anymore. And not even in a nasty way or in a way that's, trying to sabotage versions of yourself that you once were. It's just recognizing that it no longer serves you and it no longer is welcome here. And let me say this. What is meant for you will not confuse you. It won't feel heavy. It won't make you go back and forth. And that alone is a reason to walk away from anything that doesn't feel like a full body hell yes or hail yes. Hello. Every time you say no to what's not meant for you, you're actually saying yes to something better. And I know it's not easy, especially when the past comes back looking shiny, maybe looking different, saying the right things, but you need to ask yourself, why did I leave this behind in the first place? Growth requires discipline. It's easy to go back. It's easy to go where things are familiar. What's hard is actually having the self-respect to move forward, even when it's lonely and even when it's uncertain. That is the thing that you guys have to understand about growth and moving forward and taking the next leap in your life is that it can feel very lonely. It can feel isolating because you've never been there before. It requires you to have to say goodbye to a lot of things that brought you to that stage in the first place. And you have to really empty out that garage of memories to really bring in more things that you can say yes to. And I know that that sounds like a very random analogy, but for me, I really love that saying of like getting towards what's meant for you is like having a garage filled with stuff. The thing that's meant for you needs to fit in the garage and it can't. So you need to remove something from the garage to bring that thing in. And that's kind of how I like to look at my past. What things do I need to remove to get closer to the things that I want? Whether that is me trying to be a little bit more mature or isolating myself, growing through different experiences, saying no to things that no longer feel good, leaving situations early, leaving behind friendships that are hurtful, leaving behind relationships that make me question my worthiness and my sanity. These are all things that we have to release and let go of to welcome in more amazing things. And like I said in the beginning of this episode, the program is bigger than me. And I always remind myself of that whenever I'm making decisions. Now, I kind of want to discuss like taking that bait and then the regret that kind of surrounds it. Yes, sometimes people do take the bait. I know I have. I've gone back to things that have definitely disrespected me or weren't serving me, whether it's entertaining an ex or saying yes to a job that I don't want or just like watering down my standards. And 9 times out of 10, I do regret it. It's just how it goes because you realize I've been here before and I remember that I don't like it. So, and you need to say to yourself, if I do not learn this lesson, it will keep showing up until I learn it. Going back isn't always about love or comfort. It can also be about fear. Fear of starting over, the fear of unknown. And it's just something that a lot of us struggle to grasp because it feels lonely. It feels like you're in a dark tunnel going towards the light, but you just don't see it yet. There is nothing more painful than staying stuck in something that is expired. And it's dangerous. And it's something that is beneath what you really desire. So question that every time. Now, let's talk about the power of discernment. This is where, your discernment comes in. You have to train yourself to pause and ask, is this aligned with who I'm becoming? Not who I was, not who I used to love, not what I used to settle for. It's either a hell yes or it's a no. I need you to start listening to your body. That tightening in your chest, that anxious gut feeling, that's not peace. That is not alignment. Stop making excuses for why you should go back when deep down you already know the answer. My body is so smart, and so is yours. It will always let me know if something is for me. And this even goes as deep as like sexual connections with people. When you get older, you stop getting aroused and, interested sexually in people who are not good for you. You start to only be able to get there with people that you are comfortable with, that are respecting you, that you're aligned with. And I'm not saying that every guy that you're going to sleep with from here on out is going to always be like this amazing decision and that's who you're going to have the best sex with. I'm not necessarily saying that. But what I'm saying is I noticed that as I got older, I was not capable of just being able to just do something quickly with someone that was not giving me what I needed, that felt aligned for a future partner. I know that what I like is a little bit of foreplay. And to me, foreplay is like having those deep conversations, somebody who's understanding me, somebody who's listening. I always have the best intimate moments with people who I can tell are listening, who are observing, who are being kind, who are giving me what I'm needing in that moment. And that allows me to really be comfortable and let my hair down. Imagine right before you're about to be intimate with someone and they say something off-putting, or they make a comment that's not nice about your body, or they say something that reminds you of a nasty joke that they used to say that felt like very negging in spirit years ago. You're going to have a hard time being aroused and enjoying the moment. It's going to put you off. So view your discernment the same way. You're going to feel that very weird feeling, that weird gut feeling when something is not meant for you. A job, a person, a opportunity, a habit, a lesson, whatever's presented to you. If it does not feel aligned and you feel that weirdness in your body, that is your answer. And next time you're tempted, visualize the future version of you. Would she be proud of this decision and would she feel safe here? Staying grounded in your present is easy when you're more logical than emotional. And I know it's really difficult, especially if you're a woman. We do not act based off of logic. We tend to base a lot of our actions off of emotions. But that is doing yourself a big disservice because when you're logical, you actually make better decisions that actually will help your emotional being down the line. So if you make a decision that is best suited for you, you will actually be more emotionally sound and feeling better down the line. Now, if you make decisions based off of trauma, your past, familiarity, emotional, excitement and feelings, a lot of the time that could be guiding you in an incorrect direction. So be very mindful of that. Staying grounded in your present is being logical, is being aligned, is reminding yourself of what exactly it is that you want down the line. What exactly would be the best thing for your future? So what do we do when our past comes knocking? We don't answer. We remember who we are and we remind ourselves about why we left. And we choose ourselves again and again. That will never be a mistake. Choosing yourself is never the wrong answer. Here's your challenge for the week. And I feel like this is going to really help a lot of people, especially walking into this new season and this new chapter, to really implement. And it's to say no to one thing that isn't a full body yes, whether it's a text that you don't respond to, a job that you don't apply for, or a version of yourself that you choose to shed. Know that every no brings you closer to the life that you deserve, because your future is waiting for you. They're just waiting for you to be ready for it. And you need to stop looking back in order to get there. You got this. And remember, you're not missing out on anything that is not meant for you. Bye, everyone.
Pioneer.